Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. Today, I want to show you this amazing guitar. It's the Baum Guitars Backwing. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, make sure to subscribe and ring the notification bell. And of course, check out the description box under the video. You'll find all kinds of stuff like timestamps, my signal chain, a link to Baum Guitars if you want to check this baby out, and all kinds of additional infos. So what is Baum Guitars? What is this baby? It's a brand from Denmark, and the founder and main luthier and main designer is called Baum, and he started his company Baum Guitars in 2015. He's been building guitars forever, like 30 years or something, but that's the year where he actually decided to give his instruments a name, make a couple of designs like the Backwing, and make them like an actual thing. And before that, he was a graphic designer and made all kinds of designs for big companies and stuff. So you can tell, you can tell. This has that kind of vibe that brings me in the same way in like a bluesy, old school, traditional direction, as well as, drop tuned, heavy chugging, badass rock vibes and all those and everything in between really. So it really gives me that kind of flavor that I want to have when I look at myself holding the guitar, which is, let's be honest to ourselves, the way a guitar looks, that's important. but obviously the design is not all that matters, clearly. So they also made sure that they have pickups that they made themselves and fit the kind of tone they wanted to get out of these instruments. These are the Gold Sound Gold Buckers, which are mini humbuckers. And they went for PAF humbucker kind of tone, which is like the grandfather of all humbuckers, obviously. But because it's narrower, you have a much clearer tone, like a little less lower mid-range and a bit more snap to the tone. So it actually gets you closer to a P90 kind of vibe without having, well, first of all, the hum, because it's a humbucker. And second of all, it does have humbucker characters. Like if you drive it with a lot of gain, like a high gain tone, it just acts like normal humbuckers. It doesn't get too fizzy on the top, doesn't get muddy on the low frequency range. It does have all the qualities that you want from a humbucker, but if you reduce the gain and go for a very low gain sound or a fuzz tone or a clean sound, you have much more clarity and a bit more transparent tone, really. Another non-traditional feature is the bridge, which is a roller bridge. Now on this guitar, it's of course cool, it helps, but it's not really that necessary. But they have a lot of models with Bigsby tremolos or vibratos, and for those, this does help and does make a lot of sense. Even though the Backwing does have, of course, some Firebird inspiration or that kind of vibe, there are a couple of crucial differences that make the experience of playing the guitar very different, and the tone as well. First of all, the scale length, which is 25.5 inch, which is obviously longer than what you would see on a Gibson. Then the fretboard radius is 12 inch, which means that it feels home, feels normal. You can grab your slide and play without having a too round fretboard. If you want super low action, you can go there, etc. But the neck is maple. It's not mahogany. This is a super dark roasted maple neck with a rosewood board. But on the other side, the body is mahogany, which is traditional. So it just has a really cool mixture of features that go between, you know, more of a Fender style guitar, and some other features bring you closer to a Gibson kind of vibe. But at the end, it just feels like a very different instrument, which is a really cool way of mixing traditional bits and pieces together. It does not feel like a Frankenstein or something. It feels like a Baum. And that's something that is hard to get right. When you start modding guitars, you will realize that really soon, that it kind of feels a little bit like a messed up puzzle if you don't get it right. This one feels like one unit. If you look at the Baum Guitars website, you'll see 3 series of instruments. It can be a little confusing first, but it's actually pretty simple. They have the Vega series, which is their entry model series. Those guitars are made in Indonesia. Then they have the original series. This guitar, this Backwing, is an original series instrument. So this was created in Korea, then got shipped to Denmark, where they have their workshop, where they go over these instruments like from A to Z, really, like make sure the frets are awesome and perfect, the setup is fine, the knot, everything. And then there's the custom shop, the custom collection or custom series, which will be made from the scratch in that workshop by Morten. So that's the super expensive, super exclusive range, where you can probably, you know, ask for whichever finish and little tweaks and whatever. I find this really clever what they do with, for example, the original series, like this guitar, because they cut costs by producing them in Korea, and then they make sure that they are on a custom shop level in their own workshop. Like, they don't source this very important step of the work out. They do it themselves, and they make sure that every single guitar is set up the way it should be, that the frets are perfect, that the fret edges are perfect, the fretboard edge is perfect, etc. Like, they do a lot in their own workshop at the end. And with that, this last step of the building process is literally the most important one, because that's where you can mess the same guitar up and make it sound and look and feel terrible with rough edges and you know, super high action, etc., very high nut and all those things. Or if you do it right, then it just plays like a dream, literally like a custom shop. My thoughts on the Baum Backwing. I mean guitar players, tend to stick to traditional designs with just 1R Les Pauls and Tellys and Jazzmasters and whatever. And if someone comes up with a new idea, most of us guitar players will just say, yeah, it looks cool, but it's not me. I don't want to own it. I like looking at it and whatever, but it's not me. I just stick to my, I don't know, Strat or whatever. And of course there are exceptions, and there are many people who would go for headless modern designs and fan fret stuff and everything. So that's cool. But if you want to reach a big audience and inspire people to try out your instrument, you have to get the balance between traditional designs, stuff that we are used to and we like seeing, with modern elements. And that is super hard. I try it all the time when I'm doing like a DIY guitar kit or whatever, and shaping a headstock or whatever. It's the hardest thing ever, because everything looks worse than the one you're used to, the traditional headstock or the traditional body shape. And to impress people with something that is based on traditions but is different, That is really hard, and I think they definitely nailed it with the Backwing as well with this guitar. But there are some other models as well that they do, the Conqueror 59, for example, or obviously the Wingman, which is now their most beloved body shape, and you might be able to see one on this channel at one point, maybe, who knows. And about the playing feel of the guitar and the tones I got. It plays like a dream. The neck is like a medium profile C. It's the neck you cannot argue about. It's like, I cannot imagine anyone not liking this neck, except for maybe modern shredders, but they would go for a different style guitar anyhow. It's a beautiful middle of the road kind of neck profile, very nicely rounded off edges. It feels like a custom shop, so that's awesome. I also love the tone of these pickups, these gold buckers or mini humbuckers. They have that sweetness that you want from a humbucker for sure, but even more importantly, since I don't tend to play with a lot of gain, and I occasionally actually use guitars clean. I know it's a blasphemy, but just kidding. I love that clarity that I get with these, with just a tiny bit of dirt or just nothing, like fully clean. It just has that snappy, fast tone that I always wished all humbucker guitars would give me, and usually they don't unless I tweak them and whatever. So it works immediately. Mini humbuckers, huge thumbs up. I absolutely adore them. All right, let me know what you think about the Backwing. Meet you down there in the comments and see you next week with a new video. Bye-bye.